right. I didn't mean to give you guys the Last Dragon intro again this week, but I've been sick for 3 days. My son, he was sick. And it was my turn to sleep with him. So that meant I'm getting sick. So I've been like sleeping for 3 days. So I totally forgot about it. I clicked it. I'm like, uh-oh. So yeah, we need Zach Wilson's head on there, man. Last Dragon. Hey, dude, you never know. Anything's possible, right? I guess we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, huh? Well, sort of, sort of. So we got Sharif in the house. We haven't seen him in a while. He's been super busy. I'm glad he's here. Jason's here. We got my man Cody, Dirk the Daring, the Frigid Waste, and Curtis talking Dolphins. Free agency. First day of the tampering period is underway, and we got Zach Wilson. I'm not going to say it's the end. I'm not going to say it's the end of the world, but I think there's a lot of Dolphin fans out there who thought maybe something else was going to occur by that. So we'll get into it. Jonathan, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? I'm hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there. My son, demanded me to sleep. He's sick. The little thief. He was a brutalizer, man. Coughing everywhere. But, Daddy, it's my turn. So we're good. We're good. I'm going to pass the buck on to the brilliant guys to my right. Let's see. So what does everybody think about Zach Wilson? Hammer, man. Hammer. I haven't heard from you a bit, man. I hope all's well, man. I always love hearing from you, man. I'm sick right now. I worked all day and I got home to find out. Yeah, and you were pumped up, man. That energized you. And all of a sudden, you sat there and you're like, I feel real sick. And you saw Zach Wilson. And the Last Dragon energy came through you and the glow hit you. And you now feel great. I'm sure that's how it works. Abel, my man.
What's up, Abel?
I'm excited for Zach's talent with these weapons and Mike. I guess. I mean, it can't be worse than Skyla. I don't know. Maybe this is, you got. It's a long shot because if he didn't stick with, he was with Peyton last, right? Wasn't he with the Denver?
Payton, yeah, Broncos.
So it's like if he really was something. No worries, Abel. You're a busy guy. You got loads of kids and stuff, so it's good to hear from you, man. Yeah. So you didn't get the Last Dragon vibe from Zach Wilson. You never know. I mean, I don't know. I honestly hate this signing. I would rather have taken. Yeah, me too. I don't get it. I don't really get it. To me, this offense, it entails either quick processing or quick release, and he doesn't have either. He hasn't won a game since 2000. Well, that means the odds are now stacked in his deck to go on a huge tear, and maybe he'll do that tear right here with Miami.
No. Yeah, he didn't play.
What do you think? What do you think, Jason? What do you think about the signing?
Oh.
You can't. Hold on a second. V21, you can't hear any of us? You guys hear?
Yeah, let us know if you can hear us in the comments.
You guys hear?
Yeah, let us know if you can hear us in the comments.
Oh, he can't hear you.
Jason's muted. We can hear Jason, but.
Oh, wait. Maybe I did it. No. Did I do something?
I can hear everyone, and I have the stream on my cell phone, and I just turned the volume up and heard everybody.
All right.
Nice.
So it's not me.
You heard Jason?
Yeah, I heard everybody on the stream.
I'm muted. I'm going back.
I'm not muting you. I don't think. Yeah.
I can hear you.
What does that mean?
Yeah, you're great.
I get back into it, brother. Sorry, guys. And what's a Curtis show without some technical screw ups, man?
Yeah.
Now you're good now.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think it's clear because yeah, you're great. Um, My thoughts on Wilson real quick is that the Dolphins, because I only can guess, I don't have like the tentacles in the organization like Big O and Joe Rose, but my guess is that the Dolphins are going to go early in the second or third rounds, maybe even fourth round for a Will Howard, or even if a Jalen Milroe falls that late. The reason why I'm saying that because the ultimate scenario, what I'm thinking is going to be a battle between Will Howard or Jalen Milroe and Zach Wilson. But you're definitely going to have a healthy, hungry couple of backups willing to prove that they one can overcome the NFL and the other can overcome his first slip ups with his first couple of teams. So it's a boiling pot for competition. The way I see it, when you get a young guy in the draft to compete with a Zach Wilson. I think that's a good boiling pot.
But the thing, excuse me, guys, I'm under the weather. But the thing for me is, you saw last year how you got to get this ball out quick. So you're going to have to process quick. You have to learn the system very well, very quickly, and supposedly complicated. And then you're going to either have to release it quick. So, you don't want this thing going up in the clock. So to me, it doesn't make sense unless you're going to create a specific scheme
Well, I can
for
tell
this guy.
you right now, Tua has about 700 throws. Then Zach Wilson has about 80 throws, and then McDaniel will use those. If you get what I'm trying to say,
Mm.
McDaniel will use the things that he does best, and he would kind of throw away the things that Tua and Zach Wilson don't do well, right? The things that didn't work with Flores or with Chan Gailey. So McDaniel did that, and I think he's going to attempt to do that with Zach. He's going to say, "These throws, I don't want to ever see you even thinking about using these throws. But these throws, these particular one, how less they are, I want you to use these ones."
I guess, I mean, if he turns it around, then he's a genius. If he gets even substantial reps out of him, that's
Well, if he makes the 80
yeah.
throws, if he makes the 80 throws as opposed to 700 from Tua, he should be able to hit a Tyreek or a Waddle. And if you keep throwing those 80 throws, you're going to hit a Tyreek or a Waddle. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say that you're. We hear you.
You're
I'm sorry,
great.
bro.
We can hear you. Uh,
I don't know what the deal is. You're not muted. It says over here.
But guys, this is awesome
Well,
because I guess as we go down the positions and the nuances of the teams, I just point out did a couple of studies on the tight ends. I did a couple of studies on the O linemen. If we were to not get who we want in the first 3 rounds, there's a couple of guys who can still do just as well and beat out a Mike Eichenberg. And so as we go down positions, I'll just bring up a few names and stuff like that.
well, as far as Zach Wilson goes, I first of all, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in the Miami area, everyone go home and check on your mothers because the MILF Hunter is coming to Miami.
Yep.
Make sure your mom is safe. Um, second thing here,
Ha ha
I'm not
ha.
gonna I'm not gonna fill this up any more than I need to, but I want to say a couple of things. First of all, let's keep in mind who we've had as backup quarterback on this team for the last 3 years. And while we're thinking about those players, Is Zach Wilson what any of us had
Whoa.
on our list of QBs that we wanted? No, he is not. He's not what I wanted. I made a whole video 2 days ago talking about 4 or 5 quarterbacks, and he was not one of them. But he is definitely an improvement over what we've had.
Now,
At backup quarterback.
what I would say to that is,
Can you guys hear
like I
me?
said,
I can hear you.
yeah, yeah, you're perfect. You're perfect. We are already holding McDaniel to the fire, so to speak, right? If McDaniel can show us for a couple of years that he can use 700 of Tua throws, then my guess is, I'm not trying to bring down Zach Wilson. My guess is he has about 60 to 80 good ones, right? If Tua has 700, and I'm just hoping that McDaniel can do the same thing or replicate somewhat of, and so that is my hope, is that you don't do this bull crap and stick to these things that I want you to stick to, because these you can make, right? I tell you one thing, Zach Wilson outside the numbers 20-yard out. He can make that throw.
That's true. That is true. That is
Yeah.
true. And that will
He's got the tools. He's definitely got the tools. I mean, that's not, again, the physical tools. It's between the years with him, you know? That's what it is. It's between the years, man.
Well, you know, the good part about this is that I thought I had myself on mute. Is if he gets in and he struggles to throw, you have to take some of the I can't throw deep outs on Tua off the board. So it will be a good testing ground to show, okay, this guy's got a huge arm. So can he break open what they've been doing, the book? And I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. You know, is that the main ingredient? I mean, that, and if he comes in, he does great, let's say, then you're going to say, whoa, then you're going to put a lot of stuff on Tua and his arm and his inability to hit the deep outs. I don't think that's going to be the case, but you never know. It'll be interesting.
He spent years in New York.
You know, look at what happened with Darnold. A few years with him, you know, he was terrible. You know, and then all of a sudden he gets under the right coach with some weapons, and you know, he matures a little bit later. And I get, you know, you're always, again, I look at it as a lottery ticket for the Dolphins. You know, that's the way they look at it. I think it's quite an investment though. $6 million guaranteed, I believe, with up to $10 million. We all hope he ends up making $10 million, because I'm sure that's an incentive laden contract.
Yeah.
But definitely $6 million. I mean, it seems high, but there we go. I mean, that's just kind of what happens when the cap goes up like it does, you know. Cap goes up big.
And it would be very dumb to go and get another $8 million or $10 million guy. No team really does that. So I'm thinking that they're going Howard or Milroe. I think that's what I'm predicting.
I think that's fair.
It's all going to depend on how the draft falls. You know, the quarterbacks fall in the draft. You know, teams get a little overly aggressive when it comes to quarterbacks. So a guy that might be projected to go in the third round, you know, he'll go in the second or something, or you know what I mean, the fourth or something. And you know what I mean. But you know, also some might slip up. You know what I'm saying? Some might slip up and go later on in the draft. You know what I mean? So it all depends, really. It all depends.
So
it's just how aggressive teams want to get.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. But, you know, for me, it still comes down to we need a complete team. I like some of the stuff we did on the D-Edge group, although it's still a little curious. I hear we're targeting Joey Bosa. I don't get that. We still got holes at safety. A lot of safeties came off that we were looking at. There's no real, I think, prime safeties that we're going to hit in the free agency. I like Spillane a lot, and I'm very sad that he went to the Patriots. I think the Patriots had a very, very good free agency so far. And then Greenlaw went to Denver. Denver is doing pretty good. If they grab that tight end, the pass catching each tight end, that means they're not going to go in the draft for it. And I think they're going to load up. They could be a very dangerous team. So we don't have a DI right now. I loved Grady Jarrett, I thought he'd be a guy for us, but he went. I forgot where he went. 3 years.
Bears.
Bears. And the cost of these offensive linemen are very high. I couldn't believe it. Dan Moore got 4 for 82. And if you guys had checked my video out a couple days ago, I said that, you saw, what was his name? The guy, the terrible dude from the left guard from the Bengals. He got 2 years, $11 million. And he gave up 8 sacks and 51 pressures.
Jonah Jackson?
No, I can't remember.
Alex Kappa?
Kappa, yeah. And I said, that's not good.
Alex Kappa.
If he's the bottom of the barrel, that means these contracts are going up. And, Banks, he got 470. Saw Macari, 3 for 37. Dan Moore for 82. And we'll look at some of these guys. It's going to be very, very interesting to see if we get priced out of the market, or if we end up spending 18 and 19 to 20 million on one of these guys when we could have still had Hunt.
No, I don't see that happening.
No, I don't either. So then what do you do? Then are you finding all your lines?
I think they're going to go with a second tier. I mean, who's out there left? What do you got? James Daniels? Did he get signed somewhere, or is he gone? Or is
no?
He,
James Daniels is still out there. Will Freeze.
Yeah, because I got my. Sorry, I got my sheet here. Jonah Jackson to the Bears. Drew Dahlman was another guy. He got 4 for. He got a pretty big contract, I think, too. Yeah. To the Bears,
I still like Schiff, Freeze, or Daniels. But I think
Will Fries. Yeah, Will Fries is still out there. Yeah. Aaron Banks, though, he went to the Pack.
Yeah. And he got 4 for 77. It's gonna be expensive.
Well, see, that's why when everybody gets excited about the salary cap going up, like I don't get too excited about that, because I know what what I'm saying. I usually know that leads to like that just it's good for us not being like cap compliant as far as being cap compliant, but it's not good when we still have to compete with other teams in the market. You know what I'm saying? Like these teams have flood. Look at the Patriots. I mean, they signed. I think the Patriots could be a pretty good team next year.
Oh, I do too. I mean, it's not there yet, but yeah, I think that.
I don't know. I think they could be pretty good next year.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. There's still some stuff they got to solidify that offense.
Sure.
I like Morgan Moses.
It always depends.
Yeah.
It always depends.
That's actually great research there. But I would even add a couple more guys in after studying, the draft. I wouldn't be mad because they're saying the kid Walker from Alabama, he's dropping. And also, if you don't get Walker, Jenkins from I think Oklahoma, guard, pretty decent in terms of getting upfield, in the zone block already. What he does in his scheme at college, and is already a bruiser. Like he reminds me of a Jamie Nails. But I would say even a Walker or a Jenkins, you're good. I think they beat out Eichenberg day one. Walker from Alabama.
Well, the draft is going to depend on what we do in free agency. I think, I mean, obviously we're going to need, but we have a lot of holes, man. We have quite a bit of holes on this team. We need a whole new secondary, with the exception of Jalen Ramsey. We need another off-ball linebacker. We need an interior D-line. We need depth at wide receiver. We need, O-line. I mean, I didn't even get to O-line, tight end.
What I don't want to do is like get older, like start getting the mid-tier guys at the 7s, the 8s.
Yes, smash the like button. Yes, good job.
Smash that
like, use those 10 picks, maybe even a few undrafteds to try and get extremely younger. And the injury side.
Well, that's the problem with not having picks.
Right.
The last 3 years, what do we have? 14. Well, I think we had 14 picks the last 3 years combined. That's what happens when you trade your picks away.
And we didn't hit on.
Good with you spreading in with maybe a few guys, 27, 26. But I don't want to see the repeat of the Melvin Ingrams, and you're failing at Beckham. You're failing with these guys. And I think that when you talk about O-line, getting rid of the ball is what this offense does. but we failed at running the ball the same way we once did, and that's minus Connor Williams and Robert Hunt. And so when we have to get back into the trenches and so show some commitment, but also show youth commitment to that, because I
Hey,
think
wait.
you
It
don't
says
wanna go-
we just signed James Daniels.
Hey, I hope that's true.
That's a good one.
Yep, I like
Really?
that.
All right. Yep. There we go. We were just talking about that.
Is that legit?
What's the price on it? And then use check. In date said use check got cut.
Yeah,
that's
but we
a
got
no-brainer.
Ingold. We got Ingold. They're not gonna.
Use check
same
is a
player.
stud, man.
Well,
He
use
catches
check
the
is better,
ball.
but they're not gonna. They're not gonna pay him and Ingold. They're just not gonna do that. Yeah, I agree with you. I'd rather have use check, but
What's Ingold's
they already
deal
have
right
paid
now?
Ingold.
Like, can
They
move
just
on
paid
from
him a
Ingold?
couple years ago. I know they gave him an extension. What was it, last year or the year before? They gave him 3 years, 17.5 million. What I know.
Give him
what
$1
I
million,
remember.
bring him in. Use check's a stud, man.
Yeah, I like use check. Niners are cutting bait. Yeah, I think. Yeah, James Daniels. I'll be honest. A lot of Steelers. Like I watched him. I'll be interested to see. They have a different scheme, but a lot of people were not. The Steeler people that follow the Steelers, they wanted him to. They were like, oh, let him walk. So I'll be interested to. I know for us it's good news, but they weren't too high on him in Pittsburgh. But maybe it's a scheme thing.
Is he left
Because
side
I
or right
remember
side?
them saying. I
Well,
think he
he's
plays
right.
left guard. I think he plays left guard, if I'm not mistaken.
Did you see that it's true that we signed him?
Yeah.
Oh
It's
no,
true,
I'm looking.
guys.
I got
True.
the insiders on. I haven't seen
It's
seen it
true.
yet.
And looking at the,
And
I didn't know.
just
but
to
looking
add
at
what,
the,
what you guys were saying,
Decor would
if
3
never
years,
lie.
24. Okay,
Mhm.
3 years, 24 million. That looks about right.
Is that what we signed for?
Okay,
Dolphins have signed. I hear King of Finland.
So do the math,
Okay.
guys, quickly.
And guys,
24
what
divided
about-
by 3.
8 million. Yeah, it's 8 million a year.
just a
That's
little
a good
about
deal.
I
cap.
agree
You
with.
can
I happen to agree
restructure-
with. Oh, go ahead.
Just gonna say you can restructure Brooks and you can restructure Seiler and Engel and get about 19 million. So all you have to do is just restructure those guys and add on years and keep them on long term, and you get 19 more million to what you already had, which was 27 or so. So I just wanted to throw that in there. You don't have to
He's coming off
restructure
an
Tua.
injury, though, right, guys?
Yeah, ACL.
Who, Daniels?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good athlete.
Yeah. What else is new?
Can he handle
That's a good
power?
sign.
That's what Curtis would know. Can he handle power?
Yeah, I got to see. I got to study him. I think so. He's 330.
Yeah, because I didn't pay him much attention. How many games did he play last year?
Like 4.
Did he play? Oh, we only played 4 games.
He got hurt early in the year, didn't he?
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, it's a huge upgrade over Jones or I can.
I mean, let's hope it is. It's like saying, like bringing Chubb back. Yeah, it's an upgrade.
Yeah.
If they and Phillips, it's nice. It sounds nice on paper. Definitely sounds not. But we do either way. We only had then we have like 4 offensive linemen under contract. Period. I mean, either way we have to literally revamp the whole line.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, we definitely do.
I mean,
but
There's
Yeah,
at
a,
we
least you
need
got
depth,
to
we need
start
starters.
I don't know when it's going to be though. Like he might take a little time or something. If he stays healthy, he was healthy for 3 years before this. He
Yeah.
struggled.
Not
with-
an
Right, injuries happen. Yeah, injuries happen. I agree. I don't get too
For the
down
first
on
day
that.
of free agency, we can handle an $8 million guard. At least I can.
he's not.
Yeah,
he-
definitely.
He-
We'll see how much impact he has. I mean, I think he's going to have a good impact. I want to see what impact he's going to have in the red zone and inside zone. I think the guy's definitely a good player. It's see how much has he lost from the ACL injury. Is he totally fine or near fine? How long does it take him to get in? I got to go. I'm going to start doing some study on him tomorrow, though.
And that's not too bad of a deal. $8 million a year, considering some of the
Not
other
at all.
guards were getting 11, 12, like you were saying, 11, 12.
Yeah.
I mean, those, for Patrick McCarry, I think got 12 million a year. Or something.
Yeah.
There you go. Will Fry.
yeah,
Will Fry is another guy. out
McCarry,
there.
yeah, got let's see, 30, about 12, 13 a year.
6 million. 3 years, 36 million or something.
Yeah, 36, 37. So
The Bills made a
Dolphins are
good
number
move. I
one.
liked, man. Michael Hoyt.
We're
I
the
don't
number
know.
one destination, man. Everybody wants to come to Miami. Like, call it a good thing, call it a bad thing, but that number one ranking, like if I'm a player and I want to win, most of these guys want to win. I know it's a business, it's a job for these guys. Some of these guys, though, they have to weigh, like, what kind of a city am I actually going to go to? Yeah, I want to win, but what's it like there? What are the facilities like? Like, what are the people on the team talk about the environment? Like, that's the problem. We're a little soft, but it is a really good problem that people want to come there. Whether they're mercenaries, I don't know, but people want to come to Miami.
You know, there's a bunch of reasons a player would want to go to a team.
Hey, Dundee Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean,
from
but
Europe.
down here we got everything. You know, we got all that, but but we want, like you say, you go to the Chiefs because you want to win a Super Bowl, or the Patriots team, you guys want to join them to win a Super Bowl. You go to you go a place that's going to pay you the most money. You go to a place that has good facilities and all that. I mean, yeah, it's good to have that. But I wish it was like leading to more wins on the field.
For sure.
You know, that's all.
See.
That's it's one thing to have that. That's good. That is good to have, though.
Hey, I just want to go over this comment quick from Indad. Yeah, that's Al from 3 yards per carry's dream scenario. Hernandez and Daniels. So
that was actually mine
there.
too.
That was yours.
Will Hernandez.
That was one of my
from the
suggestions.
Giants. From the Giants.
He went to AZ after that.
Oh yeah, Arizona. Yeah.
We can do this, guys. We got one piece here that, of course, coming off an injury, but we're not blowing the bank on it. We can do this. Grier's going to rebuild this offensive line, guys. Hang in there, man. Hang in there, guys. It's starting. Bargain bin, but we're going to do it.
Well, it's like whenever we spend a lot of money and then it don't lead to wins, everybody's like, "Oh, the Dolphins! All they do is sign splashy free agents." And then now this year, or the years that we don't sign big free agents, everyone's like, "What do we do? And what's Grier do?" And you can't win either way, bro. With the fan base. So,
I think
in
in some ways though, it's if we didn't have so many holes, I think it would be more like annoying.
Yeah, but you also can't sign everybody. It's just started. Today's the first day of tampering. You know what I'm saying? Like tampering. Like it's not even like halfway through free agency. It's like literally the first day of tampering. It's like, we're gonna sign a lot of people. Like it's gonna happen. It's just, you're just not gonna get all the top players. That's all.
I just don't think that we're I don't even think we're in a position to grab some big players and get over the top. We're really trying to rebuild.
Yeah, we're not.
Smarter to do that.
Dundee's breaking some more news.
Hey, Dundee. Larry Borum. Also
never heard of him.
Dundee.
What's his eval? Anything good?
Larry Borum. Honestly, bro, that's one name I have not heard of, to be quite honest with you.
You never heard of Larry Borum?
Nah, bro.
I know. I'm just joking.
I have no idea who Larry, but that's one name I have not heard. Larry Borum.
Yeah. No, talking about Wilson. I didn't chime in on Wilson, but I don't know. I don't know our financial situation, how much you put for the quarterback to know if maybe somebody else is coming in to compete for the number 2, like legitimately competing with Zach Wilson for the number 2. If that doesn't happen, I don't really love it. Could work out. A failed Jets prospect doesn't mean they're not good. They came from the Jets. Sam Darnold.
Yeah, is his contract guaranteed, or can we cut him?
I heard.
Can we cut him before the season and fully? So that means he's definitely making the roster.
Does that mean he's definitely going to be number 2 though?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know about that, but if you're paying him $6 million, that seems like pretty high back. That seems like a good, that seems like a good backup quarterback, the back salary. But my thing is, who were the options though?
Yeah, that's
like I said, you already had that. Like that's what I'm saying. What's his name? Dobbs went to. I would have liked Dobbs, man, because he just came from San Francisco, and that guy just seems to always. He is a good backup quarterback, Josh Dobbs. And I don't know, the Patriots. I guess they needed him. They signed him to a 2-year deal, but it's almost to block us or something. But I liked him. I don't know why, especially just coming from the Niners, man. I would, and he won a game for them against the Rams on Monday night when or no, he didn't win that game, but after Purdy went out, that was like the last game or second to last game of the year. 6
Yeah, right.
million, 4 million in incentives. Yeah, but yeah, it's like I don't know. I would have rather had a veteran. He's a veteran, experienced guy. He just makes the right plays a lot. You know, he doesn't have the physical gifts that Zach Wilson has,
I
but
want to ask you
he's just a guy who comes in and does his job. You know, that's what we got. Professional. You know, like a pro's pro, man. It's like that's what this team
I
needs.
want to
They
ask
don't need
you that.
another young kid, you know, with talent. It's like,
Do you guys think that this is gonna make Grier go for the best player available? Because he's done this before, where he's filled some holes. So whoever's there, who's best player available, like Grier would really go after that guy in the first two picks. Not that it worked in the past, but he's clearing some holes. Not and like Curtis said, he has a ton of holes on the team, but he's clearing up a few right now. Backup quarterback, two guards. Um, so this is telling me
Borum's
that
a tackle.
after
Borum's a
Walker,
tackle. But maybe
right?
boring.
But after Walker, after Jenkins, there's no guards in the draft, like highly touted, right? So I think what Greer is saying, I'm not going to be able to get Walker. I'm not going to be able to get Jenkins. That's too high
We got
for me to
Emory
even reach for
Jones, I
that.
believe. Emory Jones from the LSU.
Bingo,
I think he's a
indeed.
top 3 or 4 pick.
It's
Or I mean, top 2 or 3
third
pick.
round, fourth, yeah, day three guy. But to me,
Because
it's
usually
like
guards
I
don't
think
go
Greer's
high
smart
anyways,
enough.
you know. Guards don't go high anyways. Normally in drafts, they're not high picks unless they're like really special players.
yeah.
But yeah, it's
This will
just
open him up to go to get Will Smith, right? Like to try to get the kid from Michigan. This is opening Greer up to get what he wants while giving the
well,
like filling
that's the hope.
holes, right?
Yeah, that's the hope. Yeah, that's the
Right.
hope that they do that.
Because you don't
Yeah,
have to chase a guard. You won't be chasing a quarterback. So that means Milrow and Will Howard is in play. Even the kid Pax. Um I forgot what is his name. But these guys are now in play because you can attack that area. But I just want to know how you guys feel about
If we don't
yeah. I
sign
mean,
a
well, like I said, we'll
defensive
see. You know,
tackle, we need to sign a defensive tackle. We need to spend at least as much money as we spent on Daniels on a defensive tackle. Hopefully, I think more.
yeah, like the
There's just a
draft,
lot
it's
of
a little too early. Like I think to project, like it's hard to say right now with the draft. That's why, and I haven't even really dove much into the draft besides the first round. But yeah, you know, I mean, I know a lot. I know players by just from memory, but it's hard. I don't know like exactly. You know, it's going to be a little too early to probably predict how the draft's going to go right now. But you know, as far as like what,
there are two kids right now. There's the kid from Texas.
yeah,
And then there's the
Banks,
kid.
Kelvin Banks
Um, I think no Collins.
from Texas
And then there's the. Is he from Texas? But
or from
his name is
Oklahoma State.
Collins, and then there's another kid. There.
Alfred Collins, the D tackle. Hey, you got Javon
Yeah,
Walker. I know
Alfred
from
Collins.
the that's a linebacker though, right? Javon Walker,
That kid from Old
the Bulldogs.
Falls. The kid from Ole Miss, I don't think he will fall, but boy, if he does, he's Christian Wilkins like.
Yeah, it's gonna
But
be
yeah, there's a
that
couple
couple
of
weeks
guys
will be interesting, man.
that
That's for
Greer can
sure.
attack. I think Greer's attacking some things so he can have the leisure to fix
We need
a
Membo.
great hole, you know.
Oh, you still got a lot of holes to
Membo, I
patch
don't
up first, because well, like I
Well,
said, I
and
don't we need a whole
holes and
secondary.
depth. Holes and
And
depth.
and
Oh.
depth. That's what I think that Borum move was just like a depth piece, you know, just for because they need bodies. I mean, you can't, you know, Tyreek Hill and Waddle and them don't participate in camp. You got to have 90 guys in camp, you know, more than that. And then you
he's
got to
a
cut down, you know, for preseason. But it's like, yeah, there's a lot of guys. They got, I think they only have like what 47 or something players under contract. I think right now they got a long way to go. They got a lot of players a lot of roster spots to fill up.
Chargers just signed Najee Harris. I thought that was a good addition.
the Chargers did.
Yeah, that was a good.
Yeah, that's like a
Gus
Harbaugh
Edwards.
guy.
And you guys want Gus Edwards?
They
Man, we get
released
Gus
him.
Edwards so cheap.
I would definitely take Gus Edwards.
Yeah.
I want him really bad.
I would definitely take him. You know who I really like though? I like Jordan Mason from the Niners. He's
I
probably
like
gonna
Jordan Mason too, man.
get too much money though.
Do you see what Mitchell just got? Jeez.
1 year, 3.5. That's not bad.
Really?
Eli
It seems
Mitchell?
like it's pretty high to me.
Eli Mitchell's. Have you seen that guy's a stud? He just can't stay healthy though, man.
It's
I'm
the way
glad
he
you know.
runs, man. He runs like Eddie
Yeah,
George, dude. He just
he's a
can't
good
hang.
running back, man.
Yeah.
Yep. If he wasn't behind Christian McCaffrey, that guy would be. You know, he did good before they had him. You know,
Give me Gus Edwards, man. He's a LeGarrette Blount type player. Somebody we could really
that's the
use.
closer, man. That's a guy you can give him 20 carries. He'll only get you 60 yards, but you know what? It'll be some tough yards. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna wake up to Gus Edwards, guys. Okay.
They got to get one hammer. I think you got to sign one more running back because Achane is injury prone, and then right we just don't know, man. You got to sign one more guy and then you got to get a hammer, in my opinion. Whether that's through the draft, I think this draft class for running backs is ridiculous. Like honestly, I would definitely draft a running back this year later in the draft. I think there's so many guys that not the top guys, but like later on in the draft that you can get that I'm high on, man. And like last year, similar. I was high on a lot of guys last year, and they late round picks. Bucky Irving, they're mid to late round picks. There were some guys that really did a good job.
That you brought that up. How do you guys feel about Shiloh Sanders' late day 3 pick? And why is he so late in the day 3?
Yeah, Nick Chubb, exactly. I'm not sure. Shiloh Sanders is the corner?
Safety.
Yeah.
I think he would come in and actually try to compete right away. I like Shiloh. I've been watching Colorado. I like him. I like him at strong safety.
What's up with Dirt?
It would be easy. It would be easy for him to compete because we got nobody right now. I just want to put on one thing. James Daniels, it wasn't an ACL. It's Achilles. And that's a little bit more concerning.
Yeah, it's worse.
Ooh,
that's a little, I mean, he's got plenty of time, but that's
50 players.
Yeah, it's a big injury. So bigger than the ACL. But he's only $8 million.
Well, for that burst too, like when you want to get that burst like that. That's the thing. That
affects you big time. That's why I'm wondering about poor Phillips. I mean,
yeah,
Achilles, now ACL, and that leg looks so atrophied. I'm very concerned about him. So maybe that's the reason why they bring in Bosa. But then why are you locking in $13 million? I don't know.
Yeah, he has only had 13.5 sacks in 24 games the last 3 years combined. That's, I mean, you're just paying for the name brand, man. In my opinion, that's one we need to stay away from. I think,
just bring in
I think we can get a good. Yeah, I think we can get a good edge rusher, like a depth guy that could come in kind of like an Ogba. Grier does find those guys sometimes. You can't complain about that. He hits on a couple UDFAs, and he'll find some. He will find a free agent here and there that'll outperform Connor Williams, Ogba. That'll outperform their contract. You know what I mean? So it's not all bad with him, but
no, nothing. That's I mean. Of course, they're in the NFL. They all have got something. There's no really totally wipeout except for maybe the year that we had what's his face with Ginn and his whole family. That might have been the only total wipeout for a GM.
What, Ted Ginn?
Yeah, that was a terrible.
Ted Ginn Jr.
That was a terrible draft.
Ugh, that wasn't Grier though.
No. I'm saying once in a while you do get like a totally wiped out, terrible GM, but for the most part, everyone hits on something.
Yeah. Hey man, Grier actually had a pretty solid career. To be honest with you, like he wasn't a first round pick, but he had a pretty solid career. Like, but say what you want about Ted Ginn, but he actually he had a pretty solid career, man. He went Carolina, the Saints. He was all around, man.
Yeah. Right there on my wall, Ted Ginn.
Him and Tannehill just not on the same page. Chad Henne not on the same page. They just couldn't. It was just like Mike Wallace and Tannehill. It's like two really got a fast guy, got a strong arm. We can't figure out how to connect it deep for some reason, except for that every once in a while, beautiful when we're wearing our orange sickle on that. Was it a Thursday night game when Tannehill just hit, or it was Henne hit Ginn real deep? It's like, oh man, look at that. We should have had that a lot of times.
I was against the Jets. Yeah, I was against the Jets. Henne had the game of his life. I was at that game.
Yeah, Ginn was fast.
I was at that game. Man.
He just didn't have that, that wiggle. But boy, you
Yeah,
can
I
run.
had a friend who was a huge fan again, and he was like pumping him up when we drafted him. I'm like, I don't know, man. I
Remember
don't
that
know.
game where he had 2 kickoff returns in one game and we beat the
Oh,
Jets up
yeah.
there when they
Oh,
were
yeah.
wearing like those
Super
ugly ass jerseys, man? Those ugly Acme like throwback New York Metropolitan jerseys or whatever they were.
Those are bad. Those are real bad.
Oh man, you like? Oh
So
yeah,
who
they
did
were
the
like
Jets
blue
sign?
and
Who did
blue
the
and
Jets
yellow
sign
or something.
today? The Jets made a big
Sure,
splash.
they're
Fields.
re-signed.
They got Fields,
They got
Oh, yeah,
Justin
Fields.
Fields, yes.
and they got
Fields.
a cornerback. I can't remember what cornerback. He's pretty decent though.
Brandon Stevens from the Ravens. Yeah,
Yeah,
we got
so
So we're
Brandon
gonna have
Stevens.
Zach Wilson,
they're a
Brandon
while.
Fields
They're a
show
ways
off
away.
later.
They're a
Yeah,
ways
there's a lot
away.
of jobs. Commanders got Tunsil. Tunsil got traded. He got
Again,
traded
how many
again.
picks did that guy get?
Really?
It's crazy.
I didn't hear
Yeah.
that.
Second, fourth, fifth. He's 30 years old.
Jeez.
Just
Herschel
imagine.
Walker.
He got like I think they got 3 picks and they gave up a pick in return or something like that. It was like
I wonder who's giving up the most picks to be traded for. Like I know
It's got to be
the
him. It's
Saints.
got to be him. It's got to.
What
be
about
him.
the
It's gotta
Saints
be
gave
him.
up everything for to draft Ricky? What was that? Was a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of picks,
Ricky,
wasn't it?
that was it.
That's
And then
a
we
lot,
gave it.
still.
Yeah, and then we gave him back 2 first rounders. We paid 2 first rounders to get Ricky back in 2002. I remember that.
Tunsil's winning.
We
though.
gave up 2 first rounders. You know, so we
Yeah,
gave him a lot of
yeah,
that capital back.
Raphael, yeah, we talked about it. I think that's a good signing, especially for the price. I'm a little concerned with the Achilles, but I think it's a good signing. It's a huge upgrade if he's healthy. Ooh.
It's just our luck, man. Our luck with if we didn't have such
Yeah, I
bad
love
luck
Matt
with guys
Judon.
who are injured, it wouldn't be a problem. But it's always like every time we bring in a guy with an injury past, it's like, man, it's like, we're all gotta hold our, it's like, here we go. We gotta like hope for the best all the time. But I mean,
I love Ricard. I'd love to have Ricard, but it doesn't fit with what we do. But I'd love to have
All these
him. And I like
fullbacks.
Judon too.
Let's sign
dude,
Chad
somebody will
Ricard,
get on.
Yeah, we said that Harris to the Chargers is perfect.
1 year. That's all he got. 1 year, $9 million. Really?
Yeah, he doesn't have breakaway speed.
He's slow.
Well, yeah,
man.
but Najee, he's the guy you give it to him 25 times a game.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of running back you give it. That's hardball. That's a good deal for them, man.
Oh,
That's
yeah, it's
kind of
great.
that's a good
It's
deal.
exactly what they need. Exactly what they need. They still need some receivers.
Najee could take that pounding, man. He takes.
I think Daniels is a good addition. I mean, in a bubble. We got to see how Daniels recovers and how quickly. We got to see how Jackson, how he recovers and how quickly. And then, this other guy, Borum, he could be a camp body, whatever. You look at it, he gave up 339 pass reps and he gave up 7 sacks, but I'm sure Fields had that thing in 2.6, 2.7, 2.8 range. We're dumping that thing off at 2.04. It covers a lot of that stuff over. So maybe a guy that big, he can give you some run blocking, and then you can kind of cover up his poor pass blocking by how quick you throw. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I think overall, for $8 million for Daniels is a good deal.
Yeah. If you read the tea
Well, now we
leaves-
got. Yep. Now we got so we got Patrick Paul in his second season, going to be playing left tackle. So kind of an unknown. We got James Daniels coming off an ACL. We got Austin Jackson playing right tackle coming off of what did he have again? What was his injury?
Think MCL maybe.
Yeah.
MCL, and then we got Brewer who was healthy, so relatively healthy and then we still got one more starter spot to fill. I believe it because I think Daniels played right guard if I'm not mistaken, right? Right guard.
I think so, yeah. But then we don't know if Tehran's coming back too, so we got to see about that.
Yeah, which
I don't like
know.
that. I don't like that. I mean, I like it because
I do. I don't mind Tehran coming back if he does. We need him. I mean, we need depth. I don't know who else. How are we going to sign 5-6 more guys?
So if he comes back, though, you got Pauls needs to take off, man. He needs to be sure is he our guy or not. I mean, if Tehran wants to come back and sit in the background and be support, okay. But
I think he might. I literally think he might. I think he's either going to retire or come in and do his part that he can do to help the team. He just seems like that kind of a guy that wants to be around, wants to coach. He might even stay in the building and coach, but I could see him. I mean, this is the path of retirement. You drop your cap, you make it real easy on your team. that you're in good graces with and you move on, or you come back and you just say, you know what? I know I didn't earn the money I've been making. I couldn't stay healthy. I'm here to help this team however you want me to help this team. He just seems like that kind of dude. Maybe I read into it a little too much, but
No, I think you're doing fine. I think
I don't want him out of the building at all.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
I
gonna
don't. I
depend,
just want Paul to get his start. We need to find out what the deal is with him.
Yeah.
He needs to, sink or swim on.
What
his
was I
own.
going to say? You know what I was thinking about too, because I saw a bunch of safeties went today too. Like a lot of safety. But Hufanga, and Jeremy Chin and all them. But I was saying, but you know who's out there, which I didn't even think about, was Harrison Smith. And I know he's older. He's not quite the same player he used to be. But if you draft and develop a guy, he is a really smart football player, Harrison Smith. Safety for the Vikings. He used to play 22, and he would be a guy I think that could groom like a guy like a Malachi Starks, or if you go with somebody else in the draft, if you end up going safety in the draft at some point, I think he'd be a real good guy to mentor. And he's not quite Jordan Poyer old, so he's not like one of those where Poyer.
He's 36. He's older.
Well, but I mean, his play hasn't declined like Poyer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Healthy,
he actually had a good year last year. He was pretty good last year. He's just not a good deep. Like you could beat him over the top, but he's a good inbox, good tackler.
Yeah.
He's just not the fastest guy. Like you can beat him over the top. You know what I'm saying? But I do like Harrison Smith if he's not going to be real expensive. I wouldn't mind an experienced guy like him, especially.
We're gonna have to do some of that stuff. We're gonna have to find guys like that. There's no way.
Yeah, we are. That's what I'm saying. You can't just sign everybody young and cheap. This is not how it is, unfortunately.
Remember Brady Quinn? I never wanted him. He looked so stiff throwing a football. Remember, he was the big guy for us. I was like, please don't.
Oh, man, I wanted Matt Ryan in 07. That's who I wanted. Was it 07 or 08? 08? Matt Ryan.
08?
Yeah, I think it was 08.
That was 05 when we took Ronnie Brown. That's right. Oh, Matt Ryan came out in 05, I think.
He looked so good that one year. Then he got the ACL injury and he went back to being nothing.
That had a lot of running backs.
No, Matt Ryan.
Cadillac Williams went in the first round.
No, I'm talking about Ronnie Brown.
Oh, Ronnie. Yeah. Oh, no. Ronnie was awesome.
He was having a good year with what's his face? I can't remember his name. Cam Smith, Cam Cameron. He was having a blow up year, dude. He was catching the football, running the football. He was, I think he was leading the league in rushing and receiving.
Oh, with the Chargers?
No, with the Dolphins. With Cam Cameron, with us. Ronnie Brown.
Oh, the coach Cam Cameron?
The 1 in 15. And then he blew the out, and then that never was the same again.
Yeah, bro, that was well. We had him in Sperano because when we beat that was 08. Yeah, that was 08. Well, no, because 07. Yeah, 08. That was 08 when we went with Chad Pennington and we had Ronnie Brown and Ricky. That was the year. That was 08. So he was good in 08.
Yeah, but not what he was. He literally was leading the league. I think he had. I forgot what it was. It was like after 4 or 5 games or something. He had like 500 yards rushing. Crazy.
Oh yeah, no, he was all. Yeah, he was awesome.
And his speed got taken away. He just was kind of a big guy. But he was such a nice kid. I love that kid.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a good pick for us. It wasn't a good pick.
No, not the price.
Well, back then, running backs. Remember that was 05. Running backs were drafted real high. Quarterbacks weren't. Look at Aaron Rodgers went 25th or something in that draft. It's like I do like Asante, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some issues with tackling, but
no, he's only 26, I think, though, or something. He's got some good cover skills.
We got a big hole in our secondary right now. I'm not a big believer in Cam Smith. Sorry, I might call me.
Yeah, Ryan was 08 because that's right. We took Jake Long that year. That's right. Yeah. I thought it was it.
So if you look at what we need guards. We got one. We need safeties. We didn't pick any up. We need
a corner, bro. We need corners too. We need
corners. Well, we have Kohu. Kohu's a guy we put a team.
Right. Yeah. I mean, behind Ramsey, but we literally, who else? Cam Smith? Is that what we're going to count on? Cam Smith and Gator Kohu?
Ethan Bonner?
Yeah, maybe. No, and then
Stone back
we
there.
need interior D line. I mean, we need interior D line depth.
Linebacker.
We need another running back. Need another running back or two
We
for
signed
depth. 'Cause
Dodson.
Is Jihad Campbell? Is he the linebacker?
I think that's Jihad Ward you're thinking about.
Oh,
I don't know who Jihad Campbell is.
let me see.
Off the top of my head, Jihad Campbell, I'm not sure. Cisco, yeah, I like Cisco, the safety. Yeah, I like him. Good player. Justin Blackman, he sucks. I can't. No, the Colts, Justin Blackman, I definitely don't. I'm
Julian
not big on.
Yeah,
him.
he's the
I mean,
linebacker. He's the linebacker. He's the
No.
linebacker.
Who,
Julian-
Justin Blackman?
Julian
No,
Blackman is
Campbell. He's
safety.
the top.
The
in
thing with
he's the top
Justin
of the draft.
Blackman is he's a good press coverage guy, and that's what Weaver is going to go totally to more this year.
Justin Blackman? No, I saw
Yeah.
he got forced and not like God. Their secondary was so bad last year. Like every time he was getting burned. I don't know. Maybe who knows? Maybe they need better coaching.
Press coverage guy as well.
So you guys, Jose, and Dad, you think that they're going to go a linebacker with that 13th pick?
Oh, they're talking about the draft right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you
All
think? Who do you think we're going? Because that's going to be a big piece. I mean, I think he did by getting Daniels. He allows himself because look, if you got Daniels, in theory, and you got Jackson, you got Brew, and you got Paul, you're not forced to take offensive lineman in round one. You could take one a little bit later, get him in the side. You can still find a vet to fill in, over at the left guard spot. So, I mean, I think that's not a bad move. I think it's a good move, especially for the price. I don't know if it's going to be outright, but
I think the only linebacker I'd take at 13 would be Javon Walker from Georgia. That's probably the only linebacker I think is worthy of taking the first third that high, in my opinion. I don't know.
You're not high on Tyndall? Come on, man.
Yeah, man. Got him for steal at the 99 pick. Remember that?
Tyndall. So I still think secondary right now, cornerback's got to be a prime
secondary.
It's got to be. It's got to be the number one.
Grier's got to be grinding his teeth right now. We need cornerback, secondary.
He's right this time, no. He's right this time.
And you'll have 3 right there in the top 13. So teams will have to pick and choose whatever they go and get. Something else will be there for us, but there will be 3 very good corners right there in the top 13.
Who do you like, Sharif? Who do you think's going to fall to us, and who do you like? I heard Will Johnson took a little bit of hit. He won't run.
Yeah,
so they say he's a little bit slower.
Pretty good. But yeah, I like him. Of course, Hunter is not going to be there. But I also
Barron
like the
you
kid.
Think Barron? You think Barron?
I think that's the third kid.
Yeah, he's a little smaller. He's 5'11", but he's fast. He's super fast, so that goes a long way. If you're gonna be small, you better be fast. 5'11" is not small.
And then after that, it's like
What about Reason was big on that guy Noir?
I'm really looking into the later rounds because I'm like going deeper. I like Joe Horn. That's why I mentioned Shiloh earlier. If you get a guy like the safety from Alabama, and then you pick up Shiloh late, and you get a guy like Cisco to come in and work with them, all of a sudden Cisco is 27. You get a guy like Shiloh to come and work on
Cisco played for the Jags last 2 years, right? Played for the Jags, Cisco.
Mm.
He was on Jacksonville,
you
right?
get a guy like Santos, and maybe you get a guy like the kid from the safety from Alabama to come in, and now you got a 3 tandem. I mean, anyone can just back up after that. You can get I guess Campbell at safety to come and back up. You can get I think we still have Saron Neal. So you can get Saron to be the
I don't think did they re-sign him? I don't think they did. Yeah, he's a free agent.
FA.
Yeah,
so what do you guys? Anybody? You guys? What do you like? Starks or Mwari?
Who's Mwari?
Oh, he's a freak, dude. He had a 43.5 vertical. He had 11.6 broad, and he ran a 4.38 at 220 as a linebacker at 6'2".
Even before the
I'll be
Okay.
shocked if they take a linebacker of the 13.
No, he's a safety.
Not that
He's
we
a
don't need him.
safety. He's a
Oh,
safety.
safety.
Yeah, dude, that's like unbelievable. That is almost superhuman levels. I'm not saying it's going to translate to the field, but he's got the feel of that kid from the Chargers, that safety.
Derwin.
Yeah, Derwin James. But I don't remember
How do you say
Derwin's
this guy's name again, Curtis? Could you help me out?
I don't know, dude. I can't pronounce nothing. Dude.
It's Emin
Tech and pronouncing. If you want the worst of anything at tech and pronouncing things, call Curtis.
No taken.
But he looks phenomenal. He seems, I don't know. I got to see his tape. I'm going to start really watching the tape now after the free agency. We got
I like the inline blocking tight ends. I like Mitchell from Notre Dame, and I like the kid Jackson Hawes. I really love Mitchell, though. Mitchell kills people off the line. And if we can get a guy like those two to come in, right away, we'll have the two best blocking in line in the NFL. We can always make a guy like that become Kittle. But if you're coming in already better than Smythe at inline blocking, that's pretty good.
That's pretty, and that's not hard. That's not hard to do. Somebody signed Smythe for a year.
And
I
that's
can't
the
remember
kid
who.
Mitchell from Notre
The Bears?
Yeah, maybe.
Somebody
signed Hunter Long, too.
Who's Mason Graham? Is that the DT from the Mason Graham from the LSU?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him too. I wouldn't mind getting him. Like a big guy. But I think if we're going to go after like one of the if we get a linebacker and we trade back, like same with the tight end Warren, like if we trade back in the first round somehow, and I wouldn't mind, getting a pick like that or something, but I don't know. I think
Dundee's saying here, yeah, he struggles with recognition, a little bit of change of direction. Clear, yeah, definitely.
If Kelvin Banks is there, honestly, I think I'd get him. He's 330 something pounds or something, whatever, 330.
Yeah, but he's a little bit of a tweener. I don't know.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, but
because it might be. I mean, I don't know. I just think if he's there, depending on who else, like, are you really going to get a tight end? Is that what they're going to do? Like, is Grier going to pull the trigger on a tight end? I just don't see it happening. Maybe as much as I would like it, and it would be cool, but or like a Ted McMillan or something. If he's there, I don't see it.
I think this guy. I'm going to call him Nick. Nick.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Keep going, Sharif.
Mm-hmm.
Nicky.
Yeah, I just think he's going to try to get
talking about. You could get in Jackson Hawes and Mitchell. Yeah, you can get them in day 3.
I even like Luke Lachey. I like the kid from Utah. Brant Keith from the. There's some good tight ends out there. You got the guy from. What's the? Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank right now? Anyways, like I said, I can't remember the names in front of me, but there's some good tight ends. You got Aronde Gadsden. You got Mason Taylor, like I saw in the chat.
Yeah.
I think there's a place for that guy, Nick.
This is a deep tight end. The kid from UM, the kid from there's a couple of guys
Royal. Terrence Ferguson, from Oregon. That's another guy that I like. Kind of a dual threat tight end, like a 3-down tight end guy. Not the fastest. He's not going to beat you like Jonnu, but he's a good, inline blocker. He could spread out. He plays a lot of receiver for them in different packages. I liked him. Gunnar Helm. That's the guy I was looking for. Gunnar Helm from Texas. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Gunnar Helm.
Yeah, there's a few tight ends out there.
Gunnar Helm. He looks like a freaking freak. That guy, Gunnar Helm, like a 6. He's a big guy.
Yeah, I like the name Gunnar Helm, man. It sounds like it's got some testicular power, man. We need some of that. We need some big test. So hey, Dirk, the Daring, man. You've been rather quiet, man. What do you got to say?
I wasn't even sure if anybody could hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Now I can. Dude, I was asking. I said, "What's up?" I was like, "Hey, what's up, Frozen?" I kept saying, "What's up, Frozen?" I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe I'm on a delay or something. But every time I try to say something, I got kind of. I just figured my audio was messed up.
Nah, you're good.
I was intently listening.
So what do you think so far? What's your take? Where do you think we're going at 13? What do you think about Daniels?
I don't know. I really, if we have a safety there to go with, I think we should go safety.
You like Starks?
I do. I mean, I won't complain what happens as long as we address one of these main issues. I don't want to see us going for the pretty. I don't want to see us going for the shiny.
And what's the pretty in your opinion?
Quarterback, wide receiver.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Well, I don't say that because it's Chris Grier, and they always tend to try to do this. I hope not, but
I don't. I think this year he can't. I don't. I think this year he's going to have to kind of do the right thing. I don't think he's going to go, receiver or edge. You never know, though.
yeah, yeah.
Receiver, edge, quarterback. I think people would be all right with, but I don't think. It's kind of weird. Okay, so if you think about it, what's the goal for the season? Okay, like what's? Yeah, well, that's anyone who's sensible is the goal, but we're all under the assumption, and I don't know if it's true, that Grier and McDaniel are on the hot seat. And so what if they're totally free and they know they're coming back for 2 more years, then it actually gives them a better design option because they don't have to chase. And from what you're seeing so far here, it looks like that's the way they're going. And I think a lot of Dolphin fans are, I saw Dudley Durong say, it's a win-win. Either we're going to go to the playoffs and win a playoff game, or we're going to fire these guys. And I don't think that's really the case. I think there's more than a year to this thing. And then as much as I want to see Grier gone, and I'm leaning towards starting want to see McDaniel gone, I think the best thing for the health of the franchise is that they get more than 1 year, although I want them both gone. I'm just saying that if there's no way that they're going all in and winning big, and then all they're going to do is strap the next regime for more problems. At least if they build healthy the next 2 years and then they fail over the next 2 years, although I think I might lose more hair than I already got with Grier in there for the next 2 years. If they get fired and by the 3rd year, it will be a healthier roster, I'd think. And I think that's where they're kind of lining up, because you don't see these big moves. You're seeing things like Zach Wilson, who's a little bit of a play, like a long-term play. They're going after Daniels, who's a cheaper kind of guy, but it's a guy they kind of need. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. I think that I don't know. I think unless you get about 4 or 5 wins, that everyone's coming back. I think if you get anywhere like 7 or 8 wins, I think they're all coming back.
By the way, I think we have 8 playoff games. We play 8 teams. that made the playoffs this year. And I know that it's hard. You don't want to look back a year, but a lot of the teams that we play next year, Philly, Washington, or I don't know if we play Philly, but I know we play Washington. We play a lot. They look like they're going to be pretty good teams next year. The Bills, obviously, Baltimore. I don't think those teams are going to suck next year. I just don't. You never know, of course. And, I don't like the future look in the schedules, but next year's schedule is not going to be easy. But I also don't think that, if you're Grier, you can't just say, okay, we got 2 years. You have to kind of operate like that, in subconsciously, because you can't just say, oh, this is it. Oh, not only that, but I think Stephen Ross this year has to. One thing that I said a while ago is I think that if you're Stephen Ross, you're actually the one who makes the final decision on restructures, because you've got to write a big check every time somebody gets restructured. You know what I'm saying? You have to write that check right then and there. And I get Grier wants to win and all that, but I also think that he has to rein him in a little bit. You can't just give him free rein to restructure, do max restructures for everybody, sign whoever you need to make it good, because that just hasn't worked. I'm sorry, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. He's brought in good players, and yes, we won games and all that, but for what we're paying and what with all the capital we've had, draft and money wise, and the resources, Ross spares no expense. He gives everything to Grier and them, but it just hasn't worked out. So you have to kind of rein him in a little bit. You have to say, look, yeah, all right, you guys do what you got to do. I'm willing to do this, and this, but I'm not signing big checks for everybody to get max restructured, and then we go out and sign a bunch of free agents, and then everybody comes here to get a paycheck, and then we're 7-9 again, or 8-9, or 9-8 next year. You have, as an owner, you have to be responsible a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And say, look, here's the boundaries. Here's what we're willing to do. Here's what I'm willing to do, and you're gonna have to make it work, or the chips are gonna fall where they fall. And if you're a Grier, you got to operate in McDaniel. You have to operate in a 2-year window, but at the same time, you have to know that if we mess up this year, our jobs are gone. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be too much pressure from the fan base. There already is a lot of pressure. So I don't. I
listen.
See it's 7-9 or 8-9 years, 7-10 again next year, and then they keep their job. I just can't see that. I can't.
I hope you're right. I just got a feeling that I think it was Larry said that they'll sacrifice somebody, and then keep it focused on that.
Who's left?
Just think about what he would have to do. He would have to turn over major aspects of when you add a GM, you're letting him inside your inner circle. So maybe he could get rid of Grier and promote from within or something like that. But I don't know. You never heard. Have you ever heard? He says, I have the full confidence. Okay, you got full confidence. Everybody knows you got loads of holes, but you're not shooting heavy ammo. So something.
Well, I also think Ross. How old is Ross now? 86 or something.
So I think he's going to.
How much longer does he have left? I'm sure he's not going to go through another rebuild, bro. I just can't imagine that.
So that's why I think you could see Grier. You could see him fire McDaniel, and they'll say, "Look at Weaver's defense. Look how good it is. This is it. We're going to do it. We have cap money next year." And it just, listen, this is what McDaniel wanted. He wanted this player. He wanted that player. And, Grier, all he does is do whatever his coach says, and then he's back. I just don't see Ross. Grier is like his son. And I don't know. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, he ain't going to fire him. He's going to give him a, front office cushy, take over Reggie McKenzie's job or something. I mean, he's not. It's not like he's going to be out on the street unemployed. But there's just so much pressure. This is a public. When you're an owner of an NFL franchise, it's very public. Like it's almost like a president or an election. Whether it's state, local, or national. It's like you work for the people almost. You know what I'm saying? Like Ross, yeah, it's his money and he's the one that makes a lot of money. But the people put the pressure on the ownership. These guys don't fire them because these guys don't get fired or make decisions like that because they want to do it. They do it because there's so much pressure from the fans, from the outside, that they want to fire. These guys, they almost have to. Look at Robert Kraft. They fired Bill Belichick. I mean, are you kidding me? He brought him 6 Super Bowls. It's like 6 Super Bowls in 20 years. It's like he got fired, bro. Because it's just that, there comes a time, bro. It's just the way it is, dude.
Oh, yeah, but that time should have been already. That time should have been a long time ago. Like,
with who?
He's in his
With Grier?
10th season. Yeah. He's in his
but
10th
now
season.
it's like, it's really magnified because, you know what I mean? Because you can't keep saying,
right.
oh, well, I don't want to keep doing. You can't just keep saying that. It only works for so long. And I mean, the Dolphins did make the playoffs 2 years in a row, and again, flashy offense, all that. So I think
look how Marvin Lewis stayed with the Bengals. Marvin Lewis was with the Bengals for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he made the play. He couldn't win that play. They couldn't win a playoff game and all that. Yeah, they won 20 years. Yeah. But that owner is also really, really cheap. Dude. I mean, they have like he just didn't want to pay another head coach. Go get a good premier head coach, and he still haven't really gotten a great head coach. But Mike Brown's super cheap. But I just think I don't know. Again, if they go 8-9 next year. I mean, it all depends on how this. Again, though, it's like you said. I don't think it's a given
get those
that
likes
he gets fired.
Up, man. Please get those likes up. I got to do it.
I don't think it's a given that he gets fired, but I also don't think that if they win 7 games again, that they're gonna, that the Dolphins are that he's likely to keep his job. But again, it's hard to predict right now.
No, we can't. We just got to go. What's going on here? So, guys, have anything else? I want to talk about a different team for a second. What's going on with the Steelers? They go and get a Metcalf, and they don't got a quarterback. What's going on over there?
Who's their
quarterback?
What's
the deal?
I think you're going to see Aaron Rodgers end up there. Him
think
and
so?
him and Tomlin have always had a relationship. Yeah,
Nice.
I think Rodgers, and maybe they keep Russell Wilson. I'm not sure, but I think they go after Rodgers, and then they draft a quarterback. That's what I think. Now they got another receiver.
And think about that. Think about that. He only gave a second away from Metcalf. He's 27. And we gave away a first, 2 seconds, a fourth, fifth. And he was like, what, 29, 30 when we got him?
What Debo go for? Fifth?
Yeah, Metcalf,
Fifth round pick.
fifth round pick. Yeah, fifth round.
And I said that a couple of years ago. I said, you noticed that Hill was the last of the mega receiver deals. That's done, man. They are no longer the prime piece that they used to be.
What, receiver?
Yeah.
Well, he just got 5 years, $150 million.
No, but I'm talking about the trade value. Teams are not.
Trade.
Teams are not
There's so
sacrificing.
many here now. The draft.
Yeah,
is
but
over.
who's got
every
who gets
offseason? There's
traded?
tons of guys. There's tons of guys in the offseason. So that's why I think for us, it's a kind of a build issue that you got so much invested in these receivers. And you could find these guys all over the place. I mean, maybe you can't find a Hill, but you don't need a Hill for everything. Look, we got Hill and Waddle. We still struggle to pass. So I think it's really interesting. I think that he's the last of the big receiver deals for a while. I don't think
and
teams
Arthur Smith doesn't throw the ball. Arthur Smith runs it up the middle for a 2-yard gain in a cloud of dust over and over and over. So I don't know how he's going to feed both of those receivers.
Well, if they get Aaron Rodgers, they ain't gonna be running the ball every down. I'll tell you that, right?
You're right.
Nope.
Yeah, they're kind of in a tough spot, But at the same, as
can
far as
see
the
that
quarterback, they
being
got a
good.
good team.
I could see that being a good spot for Rodgers, man, and actually working out well for him. So
I think so. I don't think he wants to go out like he did, man. He's got
The
too
Jets
much
are just so dysfunctional, bro. They're like
They
the
are.
Jets are also just so.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
almost like coming here to a sense. It's like you gotta get these
We
good
play
players,
them,
man.
too.
We're
We play
trying to-
Steelers. We play the Steelers, right?
we're going to kick
I think
their
we do.
ass.
We play the Steel. Yeah, we play the AFC North. Yep, and then we play like the Saints, the Falcons, the Panthers. I think, and the Bucks next year.
It's gonna
And
be
then
interesting.
we got like Washington as our other home game. That's
That's
our
going to be a tough one, man.
Washington.
Especially with the
yeah.
addition of Tunsil. Man, it's amazing how they turn that thing around super fast.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, guys, I'm under the weather. I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Keeps Curtis in the biz. Guys, I appreciate that.
Thanks,
Sharif,
everybody in the
John,
chat.
appreciate it.
Later, guys.
Abel, Jason, Cody, Dirk, the Daring guys, everybody in the comments. I appreciate everything. I'll be back on Thursday doing my little thing. See if you guys want to chat, and I'll be back tomorrow with podcasts if I'm alive and all that stuff. Guys,
All right, Curtis. All right, guys. Later, Frozen.
thank you guys.
Take care, bro.